It's that time. Hi. Hi, baby. You want your head on the pillow? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You guys know the drill. This is what Winnie does. Every time, say hi to everybody. You just got groomed, huh? Your fur looks extra white. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, hello there. How are you doing today? Do you feel like doing a little bit of spring DIYing with me today? Well, come on in. Let's get started. Let's jump into some DIYs. We're gonna start off with 2 packs of these metal tags, 3 come in a pack. You're gonna need 6 for this DIY, not 6 packs, 6 tags. When I paint the galvanized pieces from Dollar Tree, I use a sponge dabber because using a sponge dabber, you get full, even coverage in just one coat. If you try to brush the paint on these pieces using a paintbrush, one, you're not gonna get even coverage. It's gonna take 2 to 3 coats and you're gonna have brush strokes. So just pick up a pack of the sponge dabbers from Dollar Tree and yeah, paint the metal pieces with that. I am using some of Waverly's Stark White, I wanna say. Now, this is to the subscriber who sent me 3 bottles of the Waverly White paint. Thank you. Was it 3 or 6? I might have gotten 3 from one subscriber and 3 from another, but thank you so much for sending me that paint because I was almost out of it. Once I got the tags fully painted, I'm gonna go in with a paintbrush and some of Waverly's Hazelnut and just kind of unevenly outline the tags. To these tags, I decided to go the route of using some vinyl and my Cricut. But you know what? A great alternative to these from Dollar Tree would be the poster board letters. They come in black, or even the wood cutout letters by Crafter Square, where you get one of each letter in a pack. I think it's 26 letters, and you'll have enough with one pack to spell out the word spring. This piece is going on my porch ladder, so I am going to use this thicker jute cord, thicker twine, and I'm gonna attach each of the tags to the twine because I like to have a banner at the bottom of my ladder for each of the holidays or seasons that I'm making a set of, I guess, decor signs for. And so yeah, that's just how I like to do it. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue these on there, but there is that hole there at the top that just leaves me feeling like this is an unfinished piece. So I went digging through my paper flower stash, trying to utilize what items I already have in my stash instead of buying more. I found these. I thought that these would be a fun pop of color to add to this and to finish off each of those tags, covering up those holes. I still wasn't feeling like it was done. So yep, I figured just adding a simple bead to the center of each flower would do the trick. And with that, I'm happy now. For the next 2 signs of my ladder, I will be using these bunny plaques. These are the whitewashed bunny plaques that Dollar Tree came out with this year that I am loving, and I'm still putting a coat of white paint over it because of the decor style that I'm going with for this ladder. These DIYs that I'm bringing to you today are very versatile pieces that can really be done to suit any decor style just by switching up the colors. When I bring you these DIYs, it really is about just bringing you the idea of it. And it's up to you to take what you like and leave what you don't and get creative. And guess what? Make it your own. That's the best part of DIYing. Once I got a couple good base coats on this bunny, I'm gonna take a ruler because I wanna make it kind of look like that shiplap. And to do that, you can take a ruler and just run some paint right across, giving it a nice straight line. Before you put your next line, make sure you wipe your ruler off. The color I'm using again is Waverly's Hazelnut for these lines. And I'm gonna put about 4 of them across this bunny on 2 plaques. And with this plaque, or these 2 plaques, I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with the tags and just unevenly outline the plaque itself, finishing off those edges with a bit of that hazelnut paint. Now, when you first do it, it's gonna look stark, it's gonna not look great, but the idea is to then take some sandpaper, go over it, age it, distress it a bit, and really soften up the look and yeah, blend it in a bit more. Like I always say, don't worry about perfection, because the more imperfect it is, the more perfect it is, in my opinion. With these DIYs, I really kind of wanted to stick with simplicity, the rustic simplicity. And so, yeah, using my Cricut, again, I cut out some vinyl in different fonts. Now, again, an alternative to the vinyl would be those metal words that say welcome from Dollar Tree. You could always do that. I really incorporate those a lot into these signs, but I wanted to stick with a black vinyl because I could. It was quick, it was easy, if I'm being completely truthful, and I really loved this font. I was a bit pressed for time, and so honestly, that was why I did it. Had I had a bit more time, I would have used the aluminum words. To finish this bunny off, I'm going to finish it off with more of those paper flowers, sticking with those neutral colors for this Easter. I'm not a pastel person, I never have been. I really kind of like to stick with the neutral rustic tones. And so yeah, that's what I'm sticking with. But if you like pastel, I say do it. Now, because this is going on my ladder, it needs a hanger, and I'm gonna use some twine or jute cord for that. I will tell you that before you add your hanger, it is best to take your plaque out to your ladder, hold it where you want it to hang so you're getting the correct length of cord that you need. Because I've cut it a bit too long before or a bit too short, and then my plaque doesn't hang in the middle of the ladder like I like it to. And so yeah, just kind of a learn by experience thing I think that I've picked up. And on this second bunny, I did go with the word back, so it will say on my ladder, welcome back, and the bottom will say spring. Let's take a look at this rustic ladder that I love making decor for. I tell ya, I've got a bin up in my attic full of different signs for each of the seasons or the holidays, and I'm addicted. I can't stop making them because every year I come up with a new fun idea, like this neutral spring one. How cute is that? Quick, easy, and budget friendly, and look at the outcome. This next DIY, it's kind of an oldie but goodie, but it's one of my favorites, and it's a decor piece that I still bring out every spring to this day. I think I did this about 3 or 4 years ago, and it is using these felt bunnies that come in an 8-pack. It comes on a banner. These colors, in my opinion, are horrendous. They are just not me. I cut off all the tails. So to mute out the colors, I'm going to first give each of the felt bunnies a nice good coating of some Mod Podge or just watered down white glue. This is going to seal the fabric, and it's also going to stiffen the felt, which is what we need for this. Once it is good and dry from the Mod Podge, you are then going to be able to paint this easily. If you try to paint felt before you seal it with the Mod Podge, it is going to absorb that paint, and it's gonna take about 10 or 12 coats, no joke, to actually get full coverage. So if you just take the time, seal it with some glue, you can then cover up those horrendous colors with some white paint, and then you are good to repurpose these and decorate them to suit your decor. And like I said, you're getting 8 of these in a pack for $1.25. So you can see here that the back side is horrendous, but the front side is good and ready for me to repurpose or decorate to suit my decor. Now with this on the back side, I did want to finish it off because it's going to be on a window, so I am going to use more felt. Now, if you want to seal the back side of this and paint it, you can. I didn't because I wanted to get this done, and I figured it would be quicker to do it this way. So, and I have a ton of felt in my stash. So yeah, I'm just gonna cover the back of this with some dark brown felt. I'm going back in with some Mod Podge because I'm gonna cover the front of these with one of my favorite springtime fabrics, and that is a fabric bundle, fat quarter fabric bundle, say that 3 times real fast, that you can get from Walmart. It is the Emma and Miley spring fat quarter set. Look at how adorable these fabrics are. I have used these for about 3 years. Walmart still has this bundle available. And so I just thought it would be super cute to cover these bunnies with. So you can see now why I needed to paint it white, because had I kept it the neon blue, pink, or whatever, green, it would have shown through the fabric. And so once that Mod Podge is good and dry, the fabric is good and stiff, I'm just gonna cut off the excess fabric with a safety blade. And it's always best to use a fresh blade because you're gonna get a cleaner cut. I bet you didn't think you were gonna see my stitching in this project, but you totally are. I think that it's gonna add that fun country quilted look to these that I'm going for. If I didn't tell you, when you cut the bunny tail off, don't throw it away because you're gonna reuse it. I'm reusing it, why not? So yeah, I wasn't worried about taking all of the cotton off before I painted it because I covered it. Using some of the wood letters from Crafter's Square and some of Waverly's antique paint, I'm gonna give these wood letters a good coating of this. Haven't seen that in a while. And again, I use those wood letters to spell out the word spring that I am going to attach to each of the bunnies. To the back of these bunnies, I'm gonna add a couple of Jenga blocks there to the bottom to stand them up, which is why I added the Mod Podge to these bunnies to stiffen them up so they would stand up nicely. Oh heck, why not? Let's finish these bunnies off with a twine bow on each ear. Cause why not? Because we can. One of my favorite things to do are take pieces like these bright felt bunnies that I would never put up in my house, repurpose them, and with a little bit of DIYing, look at the amazing spring country rustic piece that I came up with. Alrighty, so getting started for this DIY, if you didn't get the stand-up plaque from Michael's, you're gonna need 4 of these long plaques that you can get at Dollar Tree. They've got these long plaques in different styles for different seasons. On the back side, you've got a blank canvas, so that's the side you want to use. So when putting this together, you're going to flip it over to the front side, and using some jumbo popsicle sticks, you're going to glue these plaques together to make a wider canvas, right? I'm not going to do it because I've got my stand. I just wanted to show you what you're going to do. 2 of these plaques isn't enough because we want it taller. The stand I have is 3 feet tall. So by taking 4 of the Dollar Tree plaques and putting them together, you're not only gonna get a nice long plaque stand, but it's longer than this stand here that I got at Michael's. This stand here is double-sided and it's about 3 feet tall. So in comparison to the 4 plaques that you're putting together at Dollar Tree, you're getting a longer plaque at Dollar Tree and a wider one. But if you want to cut it, just go ahead and cut about 10 inches off and it'll be the same size. To my stand-up sign, I'm going to start off by giving it a base coat using some of Waverly's hazelnut. Now when applying this first coat, I'm not going to go super thick because this base coat is going to come through the top coat that I'm going to apply after this base coat of hazelnut dries. Then I'm gonna go in with some of Waverly's chalk paint in the color of white right over that hazelnut. And I am gonna put a very light, uneven, yep, I said uneven coat of this white chalk paint over that hazelnut because this is going to give us a nice distressed look. So you can see as I'm doing it, I'm doing real long strokes with my brush. And there's gonna be an unevenness about it. I'm not gonna fill in those lighter areas because it's really gonna add some character to this. Dollar Tree has some great sandpaper. You're getting 36 in this pack by Tool Bench, and it comes in different grades. You're getting a little bit of everything, the light, medium, and harsh. I'm gonna go in with a medium grade, and I'm just gonna sand over those lighter areas, just softening it up so it doesn't look like it was painted, like it looks like it was weathered. And just by taking that sandpaper and lightly going over those areas, you'll see just how easily it softens up, and that's definitely the fine tuning and the look you wanna go for. For this porch sign, I thought I'd switch things up a bit and go the route of using stencils. Stencils are a great alternative to stickers, vinyl, the Cricut, and they're reusable. For this DIY, I figured I'd start from the bottom and work my way up, and since the last letter in my word is G because I am spelling out the word spring, I figured I'd start with that. Once I get the spacing of this first letter down, I'm pretty much good to go for the rest because I can kind of line it up with that G going all the way up. So on each side of the letter G, I'm doing 2 3/4 inches from the edge, if that makes any sense. The colors that I'm using today are going to be rustic colors because this is a DIY that's going on my porch. But that's what's great about this DIY is it's a stencil, so you can customize it to suit your decor style. That rustic green you see me using there, yep, it's a combination of Waverly's Fern and Hello Hobby's Cafe Brown. When you mix just a bit of brown to a color like green, it kind of mutes it out, it dulls it out, it takes that bright vibrantness away from it, and I feel like it rustics it up a bit. Rustics it up, that's a word too. Look in my dictionary. I'm positive it's there. I've used it before. Haha. These are sponge dabbers here. You get a 3-pack at Dollar Tree, 3 different sizes. That's the route you want to go when you are applying paint to a stencil. You want to go in the dabbing motion. You don't want to use a paintbrush and use, I guess, brush strokes, because that's when you're going to get more bleedage. Now, I am not saying by any means when you dab, you're not going to get some bleedage, but it will be very minimal and it is an easy fix. When applying the paint, you don't want to gob on the paint and have a lot of paint on your sponge dabber because less is more and it will cut down on the bleedage. So you just kind of want to put a light coat of paint on your sponge and just dab away. Dab, dab, dab away. Yep, that's what I'm going to do for this DIY because we're using stencils for the whole thing. I put 2 coats. Once my 2 coats are good and dry, that's when you have the all clear to remove your stencil. Do not remove it while it is wet. Now I can go ahead and place my second letter from the bottom. I like to use painter's tape to keep my stencil in place and to help so it doesn't slide around. Painter's tape is great. You can find it at Dollar Tree as well because it doesn't really stick to your project and it's not going to pull up any paint. It just does what it needs to do, and what it needs to do is keep our stencil in place. And yes, do not throw your stencil away because you can reuse it. Another helpful hint when dabbing on your paint using a stencil, if you use your fingers to kind of hold the stencil down, it will help as well prevent some of that bleedage. And for those of you who are wondering, this yellow is made up of Waverly's Maize and, again, Hello Hobby's Cafe Brown. Here's a bit of a hint. When you're dabbing that paint on, if you kind of just press down on the stencil edges there, it really does kind of help cut down on some of the bleedage. In place of the eye and spring, I'm going with the tulip. Fun, right? Yes! And the orange that I'm using is a rustic orange, and it is made up of Waverly's Pumpkin and, again, Hello Hobby's Cafe Brown. Because this is a stencil, I'm going to go ahead and fill in those gaps in the letter, and you will see that the P, there is some bleedage there. Although I don't show it, it is an easy fix by just going in with whatever your base color is. So in my case, it's white, and you can just kind of go over those bleedage dots there and smooth out those edges, and nobody's going to be none the wiser. Guess what? I'm going to be using some of Dollar Tree's twine. Surprise, surprise, right? This piece definitely needs some of my twine flowers. Twine flowers are easy to do just by wrapping the twine around your fingers several times. The larger you want your flower to be, the more you're going to space your fingers out. Once you've wrapped it around as many times as you'd like, if you take and just kind of twist your twine bunch there and make an 8, then right there in the middle, pinch it and tie it off with another piece of twine, you have got one bunch. Depending on how full or how thick you want your flower to be, is how many bunches you're gonna make. I typically don't do more than 3, but because I'm doing a larger flower and I wrapped it around my fingers more, I only need 2 bunches for these flowers. I'm making 3 flowers, which means I need 6 bunches. Once I've got my bunches tied off, I'm gonna go ahead and separate those loops, just like so, and that is why you want to twist your twine before you tie it, because it kind of helps lay those bunches right, or those petals right, the hoops right. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue these 2 bunches together. I've I've got some wood buttons here that I got at Michael's, and this is the perfect finishing touch to the center of these flowers. What's great about wood buttons is you can DIY them any color, so you don't have that need of buying several different colors of buttons, and then your buttons don't match, or you don't have the right yellow or the right orange. And so by buying wood buttons, you're cutting down on what you have in your stash, and you can DIY these to suit any decor piece that you're doing in any color. So in this case, I'm gonna do a button in the green, the yellow, and the orange that I'm using, those rustic colors that I made. 3 flowers were a must because I'm gonna put one at the top, in the center, and at the bottom. And yes, these flowers are not dry, or the button isn't dry. Definitely didn't have my patient pants on, but you know what? I wanted to get this done and I wanted to take some pictures, and so it worked out, and now it looks amazing. So let's go take a look at this. Would you look at all these spring wood ornaments that I still have left from subscriber mail from Brandy? Today, I'm going to be using one of each of them. There's still so many left, which means there's a ton of DIYs that can be done using them. I'm going to take one of each, like I said, and using some Mod Podge, I'm going to cover these wood ornaments with some fabric that was in my stash. This fabric did appear on my Easter tray, which means I have some scraps that I'm going to use. A project like this is perfect for scraps. I'm going to do 2 of them with the green and white flowers and 2 of them with the orange and rust colored gingham. Put Mod Podge on the wood, and then you just simply place the fabric on top and give it another coating of the Mod Podge. It really adheres onto the wood, and I feel like it gives it that quilted country look that I absolutely love. Maybe a bit on the rustic side. You could go a bit farmhouse, but I'm really kind of going for that country quilted look for this. Now, I popped mine in the oven at the lowest temperature my oven will go, which is 135 degrees. If you're not comfortable doing that, then you're gonna wanna let it sit for a couple of hours. Hope you got patience. I don't, so that's why I do it the way I do. Once it's good and dry, you're gonna take a straight edge razor, a safety blade, and you're gonna use your ornament as a guide to cut off that excess fabric. What's good about using Mod Podge is it stiffens that fabric, so when you cut it off, you don't have any of that fraying and those loose edges. For this next step, yep, I'm using some of this apple barrel burnt umber because I love brown so much. And can you guess what I'm gonna do? I know, I'm predictable. I'm gonna put some stitching. Why am I putting stitching? 1, because I like it, and 2, because I feel like it's a nice way to finish off a piece like this, and it's gonna add more to that country quilted look that I'm going for. And I am so not done yet because I'm gonna do it to this bunny too, and this bunny needs an eye. Yes, this bunny looks very familiar. It is very similar to the one that I did put on the Easter tray. When I like something, I like it. I can't help it. And just in case you were wondering, yes, I am going to give the egg some stitching, but this is an egg, and every egg around Easter time needs to be decorated. We can't just put stitching around the outside of it. So using my stitching, I'm gonna add some decorative features to, I guess, the center portion of this egg to make it look like we decorated it. Yeah, because why not? And we can't forget about the baby chick. So I'm gonna add stitching to this too. And I tell you, really, this Easter banner DIY is pretty quick and easy. I think the longest part of it is waiting for the Mod Podge and the paint to dry. Other than that, you can have it done in less than an hour. It's that quick and easy, and the outcome is so stinking cute, I can hardly stand it. Moving on, using some felt by Crafter Square. I love this stuff because it's so long. I'm not gonna cut my felt off the roll yet because I'm not sure what size I want it to be, so I'm gonna keep it attached. But I am gonna take this top edge and I'm gonna fold it over about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. No measuring is super necessary. And then I'm gonna go ahead and glue it down and glue it closed. I'm doing this again just to thicken up this felt and reinforce it, make it a bit thicker. This is where the pocket's gonna be. I'm gonna fold my felt in half, getting it to the size that I want it to be. The size really is gonna be dependent on how long you want your banner to be. This is the size I want my banner to be, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue down this piece here, which then in turn is giving us a double thick felt banner here. See, it's 2 layers thick. Then I'm gonna take my top edge and I'm gonna fold it down, and I'm just gonna glue it down. I'm not gonna glue the side shut because this is where it's gonna hang from. And so now we've just thickened up our felt, we've made it nice, and we did it with 1 roll of Crafter Square felt. Digging into my stash, this is a burlap runner that I've had in my stash. I had a few of these from my mom's memorial. And so I figured, you know what? I'm ready to part with them so I can go ahead and incorporate these into some of my DIYs. It is a really great quality burlap, and since I had it, it's gonna do the job. I'm cutting my burlap down to size by using one of Dollar Tree's rotary cutters. These things are amazing. These blades really last a while. And what I love about this burlap roll is you can peel the lace up off of it and there's no residual glue or anything, which I think is amazing. You can get one of these burlap rolls at Walmart for about $5.88, and it's a good size roll. It's a runner. And so I went ahead, I cut it to size, I made it just a bit smaller than my felt piece here. And because I don't want those edges to fray, because we all know that burlap starts fraying, it unravels, it's already doing it, I am going to glue down those edges to the felt, and I'm gonna put a fair amount of glue there, again, to stop it from fraying and unraveling. And I am taking this face mask applicator. This is a silicone applicator by Sassy and Chic. It's in the makeup aisle. If you see them, you need to grab them. This was sent to me in subscriber mail, and it is genius for doing just what I am doing. Pressing down those areas where you're putting hot glue, and you know the hot glue is gonna come through that burlap. It's gonna burn your finger, but look at that. That silicone piece just presses it down nicely, and because it's silicone, the glue doesn't stick to it. Amazing. No more burnt fingers here. I love this tool. So again, if you see this on the makeup aisle, you need to grab one because it is amazing. Grab a couple of them. So if you lose one, you have another one. That's my theory. I think that's my theory with everything. Can I just tell you how much I love these square wood planks? If I thought I liked the rectangle ones, oh no, I love these. We're gonna use 4 of them for this DIY, and of course, some of Waverly's antique wax. Again, this would not be one of my DIYs without this, and because these are pieces that I am keeping, I'm gonna do them to suit my decor. Now remember, these are versatile DIYs by simply changing up the stain for paint, the fabric for a fabric you like, maybe adding some glitter, some scrapbooking paper you like. You can totally make this DIY your own and make it to suit your decor style. I love brown, I love wood, so that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna give all 4 of these a good coating of this antique wax, because why not? And just like that, we are almost done with this banner. Have I told you I love the outcome of this? Once these plaques are dry, I'm gonna place them on the front of my banner, just like this here on top of that cute burlap. Look at the color scheme already. It's already coming together. It already looks so country. And I'm gonna use my high temperature glue gun to glue these plaques down. Now, on the St. Patrick's Day one and the Valentine's Day one, I had several people asking me if I was worried about the glue holding up in the heat during the summertime. I'm using a high temperature glue gun. I'm not using a low one. And so I've never had problems with any pieces that I might display as a wreath on my front door in the summertime fall apart because of the heat. I think you might be more apt for that to happen if you're using a low temperature glue gun, but because this is a high temperature one, these glue sticks are glue sticks that melt in a higher temperature. If you're worried about it, I would go with a more sturdy glue of some sort, maybe some E6000 or that quick grip glue. If you're worried about it, I've also had people say, you know, what about the felt and the burlap when it rains? You know, I am a person that if it's gonna rain and there's gonna be a storm outside and I know I have decor pieces like this out there, I will go out and bring them in. That's just something I've always done. If it's gonna be an extra windy day, you know, we always kind of stack our chairs so the wind doesn't move them around, and I'll go out there and pull out some of my decor pieces. And so I'm not one that just kind of leaves it out there and forgets about it. You know, I do want the most life out of my decor pieces that I can get, and so I just kind of take a little bit of extra care of them and bring them in. I bet you already knew we were gonna put one of these ornaments in each box. How rustic, how country quilted does that look? I love it. I feel like I said earlier, this is going to have a bit of a rustic farmhouse spin, and I feel like that comes from the burlap and the stained wood, but I feel like these ornaments, the fabric that was used on them and the stitching gives it that country quilted feel that I absolutely love. And so again, I'm gonna use my hot glue. If you wanna use E6000, I say go for it. And I'm just gonna glue my pieces down, and then guess what? We're done. We need to go outside and hang this up, and let me show you how stinking cute it looks outside on the banner hanger, not the flagpole, because it's not a pole. And there we have it. What a fun banner. Okay, I know you see that there is a twine flower on there. I did go ahead and add that because I felt like it was missing it and it needed it. Twine flower with a wood bow. I'm happy now. I hope you all enjoyed today's spring DIYs. If you're looking for more inspiration, make sure to click on the videos right over here and it'll take you to some of my past favorites. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy crafting on a budget. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy, but most of all, you know what I'm gonna say. Stay positive, please, because I am. Bye for now, everybody.